you drove on the base of the river. For instance, if this bridge wasn't here, nobody would have been able to pass. This, you see this as the stream. But when it rains in the mountain and you don't see it down here, this becomes a deluge. They've washed away vehicles hitherto. So what we did this is all the way out. The 2 footballs plus. We built this bridge, we built embankments, and we trained the river from here. That piece of equipment is always there to train the river from under here. So that we build the bridge with the cost effective. And these are bottlenecks of the light. With some of the, we have to put back certain things there which have been put away. All these stones, all the part of the outpouring from the rock. We mine sand in here for construction purposes. This whole gorge had been developed over hundreds, thousands of years of volcanic activity. Of course, in the modern time, the first one that was in 1718 and then 1812, 1902, small one in 71, 79. This is more like 1902. Except to say that in 1902, 1,600 people died because we didn't have proper warning signals and communications and all in different situations. So these are brothers and sisters from the Arab community who are here in St. Vincent. They're been here quite a while. We have a good Syrian and Lebanese community here. Very much involved in trading. Damage. This is new deposits of time. Hold on. Oh, you're at Sand Hill. Well, here it is now. Don't stay up, Don't stay up. Yeah, but I'm saying don't stay up because the little lull, I can understand you going to clean your roof and so on. Whatever you do it limited because in Montserrat, the people who died is during the lull, when people go back and the thing explode again and catch you unawares. So we mustn't let down our guard. Alright? But which shelters are you staying at?
Well, we got this up Belmont because I'm going with my boat. And up now I'm going to go straight Belmont School.
But you register with
Belmont School, I register.
Yes. No. Let me ask you. No, but once you're in the shelter, you'll get food. What about, are you registered in homes?
I registered
in a home? Okay, well you will get food. You got some food already. But you
that's not about the man come with the boat already.
But I just went to Fairhall, they have a lot of food there. No, but they had a lot of food. Oh no, you're not at Fairhall School, you're in a private home. Okay, well register, okay, alright, well you'll get food. The people who you see here from the United Nations, they have a program, the World Food Program, they're helping us to organize things better in that regard. They buy the sweet Jesus. They buy the sweet Jesus. All right, thank you. All right. So that's those who have been
just coming back from Saturday, they said they were
take a while, but they have been registered, but they should get to those.
Identify them.
Shelters
We have to
and
start somewhere, right?
Yes.
Some
Yes.
shelters obviously don't have the support system that don't.
And the point is this, when they went to homes, they may have 3, 4, 5 days of food, and then have run out of food. It's a new phase. This is a new phase. This is a new phase because those persons are running out of food. That's why your role is critical.
We're here to do what we can to help.
Yes. But it's glad to see that they come out. They go in. You're not going to be able to stop them from going to do something else.
Yeah, it'll be fine. But at least they're going to a safe place.
They have to. All right.
Very good. Let's continue.
All right, let's go.
all right, so we're going to continue with the journey.
So you don't see the house on the you see all along the way. You see the banana trees. They're all gone. The leaves have no use for anybody. All that has to be fresh stuff. You have to get.
So you just put in this a little bit so you can take something from it.
And
So
when we go over this,
there we can see on the roof.
yes.
The amount of.
And when we go over further, this place is called London. Yes. It is part of the Sandy Bay conurbation. The Sandy Bays as we go over.
And there's still some people moving back.
Yeah. Like this one. If you came on the street now, they can see who come back and see. They were there yesterday. Like this.
Those were not here before.
So, yeah, and some of them come from an earlier period, from the with the rains, but others which came through the rumbling. It's a when we go over here, we will see
The task is Herculean.
you see why we need expert assistance with this.
Yes, and you mentioned equipment,
Everything.
tools here. So require a lot.
That's a breadfruit tree. That's a breadfruit tree. These are bearing breadfruit trees. This area is usually very green because this is the northeast trade winds bring the rain, and this is in the northeast. So all this is usually very green, but it's like a desert. All this ash.
It could take time, even rain. So it's very with the rain and rain. If there were some animals that's boundaries in this.
Yes, the animals are let go. The Ministry of Agriculture is doing very useful work. We try to tag the animals. I'm told that we are about 90% of the animals tagged. And you let them go. Because you can't leave them tethered, otherwise they will die. But over the last couple of days, the Ministry of Agriculture has been trying to bring feed and water to animals and put the feed, and the animals will find the feed, grass and the like, keep them going. those which have survived. Can you imagine coming back to live here? With all of this? Huh?
The Lord is really... And it's, well, what you see...
And all of this now, here, we'd have to build up higher structures. And a couple of long, where we had the road, where some water coming down, where you have slipper drains. They all, we have to do all those things. You have to know build. When we are building this Windward Highway, we build bridges at places where it was absolutely unavoidable that we had to build the bridges. But other places, because of resources, if the water is just barely flowing. But what the experience has been is that when the rain comes up in the, it becomes impassable. So it's now the place dug up and it's
and there is what you see, but also the ecological contamination. The water, for the water system, it's going to last very long before getting this right.
By the way, the Minister of State, the Minister of State in the House of, in the British government, who's in the House of Lords, Lord Ahmed.
Yes.
I was just seeing a debate. Mr. Police were asking about whether the British government is collaborating with UNEP and so on. And one guy.
Okay, so this worked. The fact of
one guy, one member of the House of Lords. He's the vice president of the Flora and Fauna Society. He was asking about the parrots, because you know we have the Amazona gildingi is a protected species, and in 1979 a lot of the birds, a lot of the parrots died, and I'm sure that some will die. Which remain, but we have had a program of breeding and with a German group and rebuilding the parrot stock. Beautiful birds, very, very beautiful. Amazona gildingi. Yeah.
It's terrible.
And we're not going to be able to know yet what is all happening when we go up, but you can rest assured as you go further upwards, where all the beautiful flowers and ferns and all them things, they're gone. Take a while to come back.
Yeah.
We'll go over into Sandy Bay itself.
Okay, let's go. Yeah.
All right, we're here in London, and as you notice, this is there where a huge amount of rocks came down. And there we see what looks, well, there's a house there, and they're doing some cleaning there, but certainly a lot of damage. I'm just gonna quickly and just have a quick word. Hello.
Hello.
Good day, how are you doing?
Good man.
I see you doing some cleaning.
Yeah.
Tell me what kind of damage you got.
Welcome, like the whole house, brother.
The whole house?
Yeah, you could come and take a look inside.
Alright, I'm coming. I'm just gonna quickly run inside here to have a look. And there's the damage for you. Wow. This is just tremendous. Look at the amount of ash there. Alright. So tell me, are you one of the persons who stayed back?
Huh?
Did you stay back or you came back up?
No, me came back and do a little clean up.
You came back up to come back up to do some cleaning?
Yeah.
And where did the ash enter from?
Well, from see how high it is?
Yeah, look at the
Yeah, muck.
look at that.
Yeah.
That's about a good foot of ash, and you actually bore a hole in the wall.
Yeah. And I bought a hole in the wall up before water for coming from the bedroom.
All right. How many persons live in this house?
5 of it.
And where you staying?
Well, except nobody camp.
Which camp?
Don't make what I feel.
In Honnestville, Sinai School?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a lot of work here to do. Lots and lots of work to get rid of this ash here. But
this is couple of times, median thing. Couple time, this thing happened to me.
It happened before?
Yeah, storm and thing come and the same place. Then we never miss spot to move on here. And this you see right now, inside the river.
It's inside the river?
Yeah, inside the river right now.
Okay.
So you decide to bring a spot. I know it's got hurricanes in the corner again and it will be something worse up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let me just wish you all the best. You do have a huge task on your hand. And I hope you get through as soon as possible. But as soon as you finish, you'll head back down.
Yeah.
Okay, my brother, all the best.
Yeah, man.
All right, good. All right, this is absolutely tremendous. The damage here. Oh, look at that.
You can say it's pale.
Wow. The damage in this house is real. All right. Okay, I have to rejoin the convoy. Let's.
We had in the second day after the volcano, we had some rains, but all of this with the ash, I mean, it just added to the problem, which is the pre-existing problem. All right, comrade. All right, comrade. No, I think they've gone.
Yeah, they're coming to clean up.
Yeah, they're
We saw the road, some on the road.
Yeah, some are cleaning up on the roof up there for it. So. Some of them are going to fall off of the roofs. You know. I will tell you about this community. When we reached the Ramadan, the area where the Scotland so great, where we built the bridge. From there upwards, this is Sandy Bay. You have Point, Boya, Fancy. We're going to go when the British came here, as a result of the Treaty of Paris in 1763, and the Britishers have, especially the British, decided to use them. And the indigenous people, the Kalinago and the Garifuna, had been welcoming people for hundreds of years, a couple 150 years. They come in, they didn't settle here the way they settled in Barbados. For 2 reasons. The land was more inhospitable. But secondly, you had the Kalinago. In the books you read about it as yellow carrots. But that's their name, the Kalinago. And then before organized African slavery under the British, you had slaves who were going elsewhere, shipwrecked, they came here. There were small French settlements on the other side with small numbers of slaves. And they began to intermarry and interlink with the indigenous Kalinago, gave rise to what is called the Garifuna. Very independent, very strong-willed, very resilient people. The British made the mistake in 1764 and said that all the land in this country belongs to the British Crown. And then there began a guerrilla war which continued, and it was intermittent, peace settlements, then war again, between 1764 and 1795, when Chateaubriand, their leader, was ambushed and killed. When you coming up, you saw a park, Chateaubriand National Park. That's the national hero, the only national hero.
I saw.
We declared him a national hero in 2002. When the British defeated the Kalinago and Garifuna nation, the British would have met about 10,000 of them. That's the rough population at the time. They killed, of course, a large number of them during the war, during this guerrilla war. Then they carried out genocide, and they deported 5,000 on an offshore island with no water, nothing at all. Half of them died in the 6 months, and the other half they took Rattan Island in the Bay of Honduras. And from there, those 30 people went to Belize, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Honduras. And where we are making a demand for reparations for native genocide and the enslavement of Africans. This is because when they were defeated, they basically marooned them in this northern part of the island. So the bulk of the people you see up here are descendants of the Kalinago and the Garifuna. It is only since universal adult suffrage in 1951 that you begin to have governments doing things up here. And we, for instance, under my government, this for the last 20 years, our parliamentary representative from our party has been the parliamentary representative in this area. There was no school, no secondary school up here. We built it. You see the roof is crashed in. Down there we are going to have to, we are going to build a new one in any case. But we have mobilized resources already from the Caribbean Development Bank before the volcano had erupted. We brought ambulance. We brought a lot of supportive services, resident doctors, including at one time, when very early the first doctor we had up there was a Cuban doctor, part of their program. And since we built the Ramoka Bridge, the quality of housing, individuals begin to build better and better because it's easier access.
Of course.
Now, after the 1902 volcanic eruption and in 1979, a number of people left up here and went to other places. And I suspect you're going to have some migration again. So that's a social consequence which we have to address. Even though you have better access now, and you have electricity here and you have water, you've got the water supply system. It's a tough area.
Yeah. What about the question of people returning to the zone that is very high to risk a disaster?
Well, that's the point. And also
setting a perimeter around them.
And you have to, in respect of even those houses which are standing, they have to do significant repairs to them. I wanted them to see the combination of forces of nature pile up from the last event with rainfall, excessive rainfall, and landslides and mudslides and the rest. The impact of the rumbling and rolling of stones too, and the ashfall, and on top of that, what we are seeing with sea erosion. So it's the multiple problems. In this case, 3 of them related to nature. The issue of the sea erosion, the issue of unseasonal and excessive rainfall, the result of that, combined now with what's happening with the volcano against the backdrop of a COVID pandemic. That's why several persons in the delegation from the UN using the word to describe here apocalyptic. But I think my brother Didier, who is the United Nations representative for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, you've heard me a lot on this, you could probably hear him.
Okay. Now, Mr. Didier, as I said, my name is Ricardo Wilson from NBC Radio. Could you start by just telling us your full name and designation?
Yes, my name is Didier Tribuc. I'm the resident coordinator, representative of the United Nations for the Eastern Caribbean. And we came here today accompanied by Prime Minister Gonsalves to have with our own eyes the first view of the impact of the volcanic eruption. And what I can say, as you rightly said, it's totally apocalyptic, and this is dramatic. That's really desolation, what we have seen. We have seen roofs already that have collapsed, the covering of the ashes, the rumbling of stones, the road paved that is not anymore paved. So we're here as United Nations to help the Vincentians, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with not only humanitarian assistance to help the government supplying the most basic needs like water, like food, like cash voucher, like health, and help with the cleanup of the ashes and all related environmental health issues, but also to recover from this crisis, to rehabilitate the agriculture, to look after housing and shelter, immediate needs, but also more longer-term needs, so that people can return safely as soon as possible and within the current risk that exists. So that the entire UN system with agencies such as UNICEF, such as PAHO, the World Food Programme, the United Nations Environment Programme, FAO for Agriculture, amongst others, are mobilized. We are launching a funding appeal on Tuesday with Prime Minister Gonsalves, globally, the global appeal, to attract the international solidarity that has already expressed itself. But at the United Nations, we have already allocated $2 million precisely to respond to the most urgent humanitarian needs. We're looking forward to work with the international community and international donors and private sectors and individuals of goodwill to help the government in the extraordinary efforts that they have deployed and the great coordination and management of this emergency that has happened so far.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the assistance to our blessed country.
Thank you,
sir.
Alright, I'm standing here where it appears originally there was a shop in Sandy Bay, and you look at this. Total devastation. Total devastation. Some guys on the roof there trying to clean the ash off. They're asking me to come around, but I have to stick with my team. Alright guys, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me, you all stayed back or you come back up to the
We're from this zone. We're from this zone, but we come now transport some water who like put it up here.
Put it up here for our people.
Our people, yeah. So
looking out for them.
That is our van.
We're looking out for them.
You understand?
Okay, that's your van there.
Take a picture with the van.
That's from Dental Arts. It's Dr. Chishu. Send the water that they deliver today. So we done deliver at least 20 cases of water today. But from the behalf of Dr. Chishu. That's from Somalia.
How many persons are up here still?
Well, there's a lot of people up here, my friend.
And why? Why do you think they're still up here?
Well, people are trying to protect themselves, not really themselves, but their property, their livestock, and other stuff like that. And people want to be like cleaning their roof to make sure nothing in build up and get themselves together before anything goes more crazy. So even though the suffer blow again and stuff start building up, people can at least save their place.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
People believe, well, we up here as people from over the river in this zone. We believe, well, from here, if you not come try to protect what you have, it's a complete start over. You have to start all over again before you could gain something, understand? And there's a big step back.
Well, you have left the area.
Yeah, I left the area because, but I'm still supporting my people.
Well, but don't you think that they're putting themselves at risk?
Well, at least, you know, you get people at that kind of level who will put themselves at risk.
What do you say to them?
Well, we talk to them, but they say they're leaving because they deal with their stuff, because that is how they're making them thing, and people stealing stuff.
Oh, there's a lot of stealing taking place.
Stuff.
Look at this, look at this. That's a vehicle trying to come up in Ash. I don't think he's gonna make it up.
Go back, you have to go back down now.
With that vehicle.
Go straight back.
But yes, my brother, how you doing?
Good, man.
You have family up there still?
I live in Rightly, by the Red Roof.
By the Red Roof? Yeah. All appears to be okay with your house?
Yeah, everything is okay. Just the river come close to the back wall. So.
On the other side?
Yeah.
You guys don't know?
But do you have any family up here? Or?
Well, my father come up here, all the way come up here today. Just deliver the water them and stuff like that.
To whom?
Yeah, to people who are in the red zone. I take a couple pictures with them as well to show the back.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, very well.
Yeah, so my OTR people, I'm here. Most of you know me by Goldust. I just want to tell you, it's not pretty up here at all. At all. Who is coming and who is thinking about coming and live back here soon? It's not pretty at all. You can't stand it, you can't face it. If you have to come back home right now, it's not pretty. And I'm advising you, stay where you are, let the government try and help us. And we'll probably see our Sandy Bay, our nice Sandy Bay, get back together before we move in here. You all take care of yourself, stay where you are right now, especially if you're kids and you have sinus. If you're dealing with a sinus problem, you need to stay where you are right now. We who can come in the village and make it, we would try to make it possible to look out for you, your house, your livestock, everything like that. Trying to stay where you there. Okay? We're good up here. We're just passing through because we ain't standing here. We leave the braver ones to do this for us.
All right.
And keep us updated.
Thank you, my brother.
Take
Thank
care.
you. All right, guys. Well, let me just wish you. You want to say something before I go?
No. I'm good, man.
You're good.
Yeah, we are good.
What you all drinking there?
We drinking a little sunset.
Sun with the set.
Sun with the set.
So we gotta do that.
We're just keeping it level.
Yeah.
So you're going back down just now?
Yeah, we're back down just
on a good head?
On a good head.
All right, okay.
Just sipping something in the meanwhile.
All right, fellas, take it easy. All right, nice.
Is it all right now, Fancy?
No, we're going back now. All right, but yes. All right. So you see, there's still a lot of ash in the road here in Sandy Bay. There are quite a number of houses who have lost their roof because of the ash. If I can stay right here and zoom in there. There you go. Roof gone. Right here at Hog Hole. Not looking good at all there at Hog Hole. Yes, sir.
I want the guy who move fancy the start. I don't move.
Why you haven't moved?
I say I don't move.
Why you haven't moved?
I just feel like you move because we have a shop.
Where's the shop?
My cousin got a shop. So if I did move, they would have break it. The guys that have been breaking up the place, yeah, they would have break it. Because my cousin and them come and get wherever they live, they get them. And that guy, if he didn't move too, they would have mashed up his shop. The guys plenty shop, they mash up in the day. The same guys that they would have catch, but the police let them hold. After that, nobody else will break nothing.
Okay. All right, but how was the experience for you?
Very.
Was it frightening?
No.
You wasn't scared?
No. Because a guy they would close to me, cheer him. But one every time it's exposed, because we done our flow is very strong. Right? But the other guy who was with me, anytime he see the exposure, he frightened. I said, but I go somewhere, don't make me get scared. Yeah, serious. I named Melford.
But Melford, are you aware that there's a strong possibility that we may have more explosions coming? Are you aware of that?
Well, well, repeat to me, please.
I'm asking you, do you know that there might be more explosions from the last affair?
Yeah, because nobody never know.
And it may get worse.
Worse. So if everything, because since that, after they take out anything, after everything exposed on the building, and is there anything I move in?
Okay.
Because you have to check some years before you leave.
Alright. I advise you though, it's
yeah,
to get out
still. I will do it.
Okay.
I will do it.
Alright, my brother.
I will do it.
Good, good. Alright, that's Melford. Alright, Melford, take it easy. Look at that. There's just a lot of ash. I believe this was the vehicle trying to come up a while ago. And they reversed it and parked it in a safe area. So what has been happening is that you have some persons who have been returning, persons who would have evacuated, are returning back to Sandy Bay. First of all, to check on their houses and to bring some support, water and food items to those who have stayed back. And the destruction, nonetheless, is pretty much real here in Sandy Bay. There's a lady there in the distance. While I was heading up, she was listening to the radio and enjoying herself. But you can see that it's going to take a very long time for things to return to normalcy here in Sandy Bay. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves and the United Nations personnel still here on the ground. PM Gonsalves pointing out some very important aspects to the team with regards to the damage and some historical background also to members of the United Nations relative to Sandy Bay. VC3 it is. We keep you in the know as to what's happening here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Alright, we're heading out to Sandy Bay, and that's the damage that lies ahead. Let's take a look at that. We have a gentleman coming down with his lunch in his hand. There he goes. There's a dog running across the road there. And there's still some persons in Sandy Bay who stayed back to check on their property and on their animals, and some who were just fearful that there would have been persons who would have done some kind of looting. There we see a building losing part of its roof, and also some of the windows are broken. I understand there were rock falls that took place. The look heading out of Sandy Bay is not a good one. There's ash all over. There are some little pups just ahead of us. I don't know if you saw them. Down below there, another house that has lost its roof. The devastation is so real here in Sandy Bay. Piles of ash. Here comes another gentleman with what looks like a bucket on his back. It's kind of empty, but in Windwards. There we see a church there with some damage, blocked out a bit by the high wall. Huge amount of ash on that roof. It's a vehicle that was left behind. And now we come to the vegetation. It's gonna take a very long time for plant life to come back to normalcy here in Sandy Bay. I believe that's the nurses' quarters, I believe, there, subject to correction. And I believe that might very well be the case. There we see a gentleman in the distance at a house doing some cleaning. And in that house there appears to be a family. They also looks as if they're doing some kind of cleaning. A gentleman on the side of the road. Someone would have left back their vehicle. Seems to be a bit damaged. Now coming up to the Sandy Bay Government School, which had some damage to the roof of the timber section. Right there, it's not so quite visible, but there was some damage to the roof of the Sandy Bay Government School. So we're heading back out. Still very much in the red zone. Asafre for the last 2 days have been quiet, so to speak. The latest report is that there was a bit of a quake here and there, and the scientists have said to us it appears as if there's a new dome being built in an enlarged crater. But the caution is that we may very well be having future explosions from the Asafre volcano. The vehicle that we're traveling in, well, for a moment I thought it was not going to make it up the hill in the ash, but it certainly did. And I'm pretty sure that we'll get to the Rabaka Bridge safely. That's the Atlantic Ocean for you there in the distance. Lovely day here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There's hardly any cloud in the sky. Sunbathe Sunday afternoon, but there's that ever-present reminder that the Asafre has spoken and spoken very loudly when she exploded on Friday, April 9th, and since then several eruptions took place, displacing quite a number of persons. Between 15 to 18,000 persons would have been displaced. There's some who would have stayed back. Not the wise thing to do, but they made that decision. And the word is that we might very well be in for more explosions from last afraid. I believe we're now heading into Overland. You see how gingerly the vehicles are moving through. Yes, this is a normally the river flows in this area, but you look there and you see this huge amount of boulders and logs built up. The river normally passes, we're going over a bridge here, but everything is certainly not in good peace. And we see a gentleman who we spoke to a while ago. I think his name is Mr. Brown. Seemed as if he's taking a rest. Has to do a lot of work in terms of cleaning his home. And just look at the ash roll in the distance. Right there is the London playing field. On our way in, the entire playing field was covered in ash. And this is a playing field that would have had extensive work done recently by the National Launches Authority, putting in place a pavilion and did extensive work on the outfield. There you see the pavilion there, but it's a huge amount of ash. Here we see a piece of heavy equipment brought in to assist with the clearing of the road, and it seems as if this might have encountered some problems. But that's the look heading out from, as they call it, OTR, over the river. And let's look at that in the distance. A look of desolation. Right, we have another incline to climb very soon. I hope the vehicle makes it up that, because there's a fair amount of ash on the road there. But in the distance there, you see right there, another house which appears to have lost its roof because of the weight of the ash. This area again is where a fair amount of water will come down during the heavy rains, and as you notice, pretty much affected. We're going up this incline. We made it over. I believe we're now into Overland. Let me just show the driver. Oh yeah, that's a skill man. Yes, it was over there.
Brother Kali. By the way, we're not in a 4x4, we're in a 1.3. What make is this vehicle again? Suzuki, alright. Small engine. And there is the cemetery, Overland Cemetery. You just seen the tombstone, and outside of that, nothing else to be seen because they're all buried in ash. Might have a little challenge here, but I don't foresee any problems going up this one. This probably should be fairly easy. Yeah, no problem there. Village after village, there's some kind of devastation that has taken place. We continue to see it here in the red zone. Small house has lost its roof, or should I say caved in. There's a lone goat in the distance. And again, we are crossing one of these low-lying area. And look ahead there, look up inside of there. This is what Lasso Frere has done. Just look at that little house right there. Okay, I missed it. But it's a house of what I term resilience. I don't know if you just seen it there. The roof is full of ash, but still standing. Telecommunication towers, as to which one I don't know, but all appears to be okay there. But as we travel along, the reminder that agriculture has certainly taken a big hit this side of the island, and there are quite a number of persons who make their living simply by farming, and it's going to take a long time for things to get back to normal.
trees. We'll take a wrap here, and when we get back to either Rabac or Georgetown, we will continue with more.
these are plantains, but as you see, they are affected by the ash. She has a farm up in Orange Hill, here where we went to. So she's washing. She says somebody will buy them for somebody who's going to trade in Barbados. So but I told her about the love box, which she knows about.
Yes, I know.
That's where we package the love. That's one of the stations where we package the love box. At that place. It hasn't been affected. The ashes on the roof and so on, but it was locked up. So we are alright. The river water you get?
Yeah.
Which river you get it from? Basin Hole?
No, we're not done.
Okay, where you get it from? We get by Johnstown. You had a lot of time.
Yeah.
I can know with this girl. I wonder when I arrive there, it's spoiled. It's flopsy. It's flopsy. Yeah. Oh, but given the deterioration, how much you normally get for a pump?
Well, normally, sometimes, let me see, in general, getting $1 pump.
$1, and you see, that's 40 US cents a pump.
Well, now we're getting 80 cents.
Well, I expect you'll get less because of the quality. Because of the quality. So she gets 80 cents, which is 80 EC cents. That's 30. That's 30 US cents. So she get 10. She get 10 cents less. US 10 cents less. Yeah, well, it's cheaper. It's the quality. Yeah. The point is this. This doesn't affect
inside.
Planting.
Yes.
Planting is tough. Feel the skin of the planting. This is different than bananas. Bananas are fairly, particularly the Lacatan variety, is Panama Lacatan variety is softer. But banana, you couldn't do this with bananas. It will go through banana, this skin. But this is planting.
How many to banana?
There's a lot of work here.
Yeah, man. As usual.
How much do you think you can sell?
Well, these are when we now finish here.
You pack already?
Yeah.
40 pounds in each box?
No, 55.
You get 55?
55 pounds in each box.
Yes. But normally banana take 40?
45.
45.
Plantains are heavy.
Yeah, no, the plantain heavier.
And because of the trade going to Barbados, the custom duty there is high for a box, so we have to put as much as we can.
Okay.
So each box costs $10.
Yeah. So they charge not on the pump but on the box.
The box is $10 going to Barbados. Each box.
$10 EC.
Yeah, so you have to
that's
put
4 US approximately. Well, for the no, she will get 30 US cents a pound. So 30 by 50. 30 by 50, that's $15.
Yeah.
$15 on something because the extra 5 cents, 5. Yeah, about each of those boxes she will get $1.50, $1.55. For herself. Now, how much you pay for the box?
The box is $5.60.
So they pay you for the carton or that?
No, we bought them.
So that means you have to take that away from your
Yeah.
So if you take away you take away 560. Yeah. All right, girl.
Yeah, all right. Nice seeing you.
She is a hard-working woman.
And a representative of the SBG Green Party.
Well, I will tell you a story. She was there. Why she tell you that and she laughed? She ran for the Green Party down in East St. George. St. George.
Yes, East St. George.
But she made me know. She said, comrade, I leave, but she lives here. She said, make sure I vote for you here first. No, she knows the Green Party is not going anywhere.
No.
So she has to vote for the Comrade Reform government.
It's camaraderie.
Even though there was a Green Party man here, you know. Even though there's a Green Party man here.
Alright, we have a big man.
Usual thing, local leadership. But we have to give credit to all the shelter managers and all the workers doing a good job. Some naturally have stronger leadership than others. But the call that I made you, it had an impact.
Yeah, real impact. Real impact. I just put in the chat. We received an adequate supply of stuff from Nemo. We are smiling now. But that smile would turn into a laughter when they give me some mattresses, pillows, and sheets.
Okay, all right. I came here, I passed here yesterday with some journalists, and they told me about one or two little weaknesses there, so I called Nemo when I was on the way down, and the system responds.
And they received the additional goods.
They received additional, what they...
And we got the gas.
And you got the gas.
And we have the yard being clean.
The yard is being...
I see
what they're doing, they use a pump and put the hose down in the river, so that you don't waste the precious water now.
Where are you from?
Right here.
Right there. Okay.
Green roof.
He's a graduate at the University of the West Indies in agriculture, and he did education.
How many people do you have here? Adults, children?
And we have to go to vote sleep. Go to vote staff. Work in the kitchen and administrative.
And we can go in and look what we did.
Inside the kitchen.
I'll explain.
We have 33 in the shelter now. 33.
33.
33.
22 males. 12 females. We have 17 children.
17.
17 children. 14 of the children are males and 3 are females.
Okay.
We have 5 babies in the count.
Okay.
2 ones, 1 2, and 2 5s.
And let's make another family to join us.
We set up. We have had a good program fighting hunger and poverty, but there is an intractable core. We found in extreme poverty, even though we reduced the numbers, difficult to shake. So we set up what is called a Zero Hunger Trust Fund. And we fund it with a contribution of 2 cents on each telephone call on your cell phone made internationally. And we attract other funding as a consequence of that. I personally, 1 month's salary per year from me goes to the Zero Hunger Trust Fund. And other people contribute and we get support from other entities overseas. Like for instance, Dubai Cares. And the Zero Hunger Trust Fund does stuff for the elderly, for students, children, food hampers, cash vouchers, various, a mixture of those things. They do training and placement of people to out of work youth, particularly in the areas of IT, but other areas. And we have also used monies. For several of them, these were done by Dubai Cares, the resources from Dubai Cares, where we built in a certain number of locations new kitchen, new eating facilities for the students, because we have a very good school feeding program for the primary schools. So this was put, and so this is provides, anywhere you see you have the primary schools, basically we have good facilities to feed the people in the shelters. In the secondary schools where you have tuck shops, but the tuck shops are not all equipped as how you'll find this kitchen, because, and when we feed our children here, per meal in US dollar terms, 14 cents, 50 cents EC. Of course, it doesn't cover the cost. But what happens in a farming community like this, through the Parent Teachers Association, people will bring food, ground provisions, fruits and vegetables to augment what the state puts in. So that helps. We can look at the kitchen and see what.
All right, so we're here at the Diamond Government School, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, meeting with the shelter management team, and of course giving members of the UNICEF team an opportunity to have a first-hand look as to what's happening at one of the shelters. And SSPM Gonsalves just showing to the UNICEF team some of the delectables that have been done.
The watermelon, you got it from the village?
We have some in here already.
You got some from Nemo this morning. The pumpkin come from where? In the village?
In the village.
And the plantain them?
Yes.
And what you all cooking for dinner?
We will make a bread after light snack.
A light snack for dinner after you've done the snack. What you had for lunch? What you cooked for lunch?
We made some rice, some baked chicken and fried chicken.
Rice.
With stew and stew.
You did peas?
Red beans.
Red beans and
stew on the side.
Sweet potato and ripe plantain.
Rice and salad.
And what meat you use? Chicken?
Chicken and fish.
Chicken and fish today. Yeah. Not bad at all.
That's good. That's complete meal.
Where does the chicken do you have enough food?
The fish will come from here, but the chicken would be imported. And
the community organizes that, or that comes from volunteers from the community.
And the rice, we have a rice mill here, so we do the rice. Okay. Yeah, we bring in we bring in the supplies and we do the finished product here.
Packets.
But this is a very nice sweet potato. You see this? The different kind of sweet potato, but this is a red sweet potato. Outside, the red skin. They have some white skin one, different type of sweet potato. This one is very nice. And they boil the ripe plantain, but they could also fry it.
Sure.
It was very nice, and of course
fried plantain is great. Patacones, as they say.
So it's red beans.
Yes. That's the leftovers from
what you
from
lunch?
Very caloric. That's good.
You know, where I come from in East Africa, when you don't have beans, no, that's it's a must. It has to be there.
Tu le cherches, hein? Tu le cherches, Alois. Tu vas tout finir.
You want to taste the bean too?
I'm gonna taste. I'll give you another.
for. Very nice. What you boil it with?
With onion and garlic and
That's what I'm tasting there. We didn't put any coconut milk in it?
No.
You didn't put coconut milk in this one?
None inside today. We always put in the what none was inside it.
Okay, so they need I eat beans alone, you know, as a meal. This is fantastic.
Good stuff.
So good?
Good stuff.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Well, all right.
Good stuff.
We believe you.
You can trust.
We are like this aliving, you know?
Frankly,
we like
that's a good standard. Yeah?
Good.
You are good cooks, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you so much.
The World Food Program, you can indicate to the comrades what you, what you intend to do both in terms of meals and vouchers, about roughly how many?
Okay, well we're discussing with the government to identify where the gaps are, but ultimately where the World Food Program can help is helping with all the sort of distribution processes and you know, how we make sure that food gets to shelters and also to people that aren't in shelters, people that have been evacuated. But we did an initial start. 2 days ago, we provided 15,000 EC worth of vouchers that people could go to the supermarket and get their own food and other basic
$100 vouchers. But no alcohol and cigarettes.
No alcohol and cigarettes, but for the basic needs. So we've started that up and hope to expand that quite significantly.
But when you do the $100 voucher, it's for once, you're doing it once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month, what you're doing?
So that one was just a one-off sort of trial, make sure that it worked. What we're now looking at is perhaps starting with the vouchers and then eventually transitioning to cash as people become more stable. Okay. Now, again, the condition in shelters is slightly different from those with households.
And also to help with the build the database in a more efficient IT system.
So all the work that you've been doing with tracking who's here and all the data on those. So we've been working with the Ministry of Education and with the Ministry of National Mobilization.
And what I started as well is to put the list together from the various communities of the poor and vulnerable persons who are not evacuees, but so already over 300 persons.
And that's what we spoke about yesterday.
Especially in the red zone PM. Because the farms are so badly damaged, those farmers and their workers would have an income problem in the upcoming period.
I discussed that with them.
But also something came to me in terms of making an assessment of this disaster. The water, because the water was really challenging during the day. And I believe just like how in America or in one of those big countries you have what they call a strategic supply of oil, we have to begin to consider setting up a strategic supply of water at the domestic level, at the home level, and at the CWSA level. So that we have tanks, you know, I mean, every home we should encourage them to get a tank and so on and so forth. So we build up over the years.
You encourage that normally, but it takes something like this to prompt them. And then there are one or two sources, some traditional ones. Like for instance, the underground source down in Penniston, which we have been using, because there's a tank, there's a well there. A spring in South Rivers, there's a spring up here.
Yes.
So you can the problem with the springs is because they're located below the level of where people build their houses. All you can do with the spring is to run taps from them in the village for at least in an emergency for people to get water. But those are concepts which you can work out.
Yeah, because to be honest, we have been careless. I mean, we're not talking about this at the domestic level. I give you an example with myself. I had a tank, and as soon as the water situation became comfortable, I sold the tank.
You sold the tank. Because up in this area, more people used to have tanks until we built the Windward water supply at Jennings.
Yes.
And we completed that supply about 2005, 2004, 2005 or thereabouts. And because that supplied the whole of this eastern side, you have the tank, you ain't thinking that suffering going to blow or anything like that.
But we've also had droughts over the last several years.
Yes,
part of the
well that's an important issue in the process.
So you can never save too much water, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we are very glad you allow us to come here again, Simeon. And this is, as I said, this is a Zero Hunger Trust Fund facility. There are several of them which we have built across the country. And the bulk of the people here from Sandy Bay, Orange Hill. Yeah.
How are you doing here? How are you feeling? Are you okay here? How is it going? Tell me. It's going good. Yeah, it's going good. Yeah, tell me a little bit what you do in the morning, in the afternoon, when you wake up, till the end of the day. What do you do? How is your life? Tell me.
You know where he's from? You? From Africa.
Yes, okay.
Burundi. You know where Burundi is? You gotta look it up in the map. From East Africa. Near to Uganda.
Prime Minister, you don't teach them the history of Africa.
Near to Uganda. So you would look it up on the map. Burundi. Oh, sorry, he asked a question.
How are you doing? How is your life here in the shelter?
Fine, thank you.
Huh?
Fine.
Speak louder.
Fine.
It's fine. What do you do in the morning? What do you do from the morning to the...
Sometimes I come down. Me help them wash up the ways of them and they prepare breakfast. Clean up the table of them. Sometimes I map.
Okay, tell me. So you are 13 years old. So how is it going, your education? How do you learn now?
Well, me couldn't run in book of them, so me leave them.
But he's happy.
Me couldn't run in book of them, so me leave them.
You cannot learn. But I understand that you guys, you have tablets. You can learn online. Do you do online
What class you in?
CPA class.
Huh?
Grade 6.
So you got your tablet already?
You have a tablet, right?
Yes, she has a tablet.
So what do you do with the tablet provided by the government?
Sometimes research words.
Huh?
Sometimes research words. Sometimes read a story on it.
Every day you...
Well, mostly in the night.
Mostly in the night. And do you have internet connection?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
And your mom, your parents, they support you to learn?
Yes.
Really? Huh? Okay, that's good. You are supporting them in their learning?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Because I know that you will be having examination. You have to prepare for the exams, right? Yeah.
What grade are you in?
5.
Huh?
5.
But you got your tablet too?
Yes.
So, Prime Minister, what about
grade 4 and
grade, yes, and
those tablets came last week, so you will get them. The ministry is going to organize a system how to get them in the shelters and people by their homes. The ministry is going to tell us, but we got them. We had a procurement problem with them. That is to say, when we brought the first set, we couldn't get all at the same time, because what happened with COVID, a lot of demand was made for tablets because they were doing all over the world online education, so we had to put in the order and so on. These which we get, these tablets, the case is not, in which to put the tablet, is not going to be the quality of your case, but it will be a good case still.
And I was talking about the CPA in terms of that.
Well, we haven't, the CPA, we have to hold the CPA. The question as to whether... we may have a setback. We may have to hold it a little later. But they will tell us that. The ministry will discuss that with the Caribbean Exam Council, and we will, the CXC, and we'll find out. What happened is this. The Caribbean Examination Council does the exams from, to get into college, what is called after 5 years of secondary education, and then they have the CAPE, the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Exam, to save you a year to go into university. But some countries requested of them that they have also an exit exam from the primary school. Not all the countries have that exam. Trinidad doesn't have it, not administered generally, or Barbados. But we bought into that, and we didn't do a pilot project, we did it one time. So we have a Caribbean primary exit assessment, and that is comprised of coursework and also exam. That's why she tells you that she uses her tablet to do research. And for the coursework, she has to type up on her tablet too, and all the rest of it, and she will do coursework in relation to for part of the final mark in relation to a final exam. Because some students are not, some students will be good students, but not so good at examinations. And what it is discovered is that a number of children from the poor and the working people and the peasantry, some of them don't have the same set of confidence in going in the final exam room. But on an ongoing basis, in the environment where they are working, they do the coursework well. So that coursework is taken into account. It's given a certain percentage of the marks, so that you even out the access to the secondary school. Everybody goes into secondary school. The CPEA is just for you to get the school of your choice. You put you say this is my number 1 choice, this is my number 2 choice, this is my number 3 choice. So through that system, the positions are allocated without reference to geographic divisions or anything. So everybody gets a fair crack at the school which they want to go to. It's a very good system.
Good that you brought into it.
So we go. I was telling the comrades from the United Nations about the history of the Kalinago and the Garifuna. And they're mainly from Orange Hill and Sandy Bay. You are a Byron?
Yes, I am.
I see it in your face.
Byron? Yes.
She's a big family in Orange Hill.
I see.
I get to know. What's your family name?
Mac Anderson, my daddy.
Who?
Mac Anderson.
Mac Anderson from Byron Hill. Yeah. I know Mac Anderson very well.
That's my daddy. But the balance, I'm friends of family from Sandy.
So that's your father's side is Mac Anderson, but your mother's side is a Francois and Valentine. Francois, that's part of the former French influence.
I can see that. So you recognize my family too?
Yeah. I know the place. I know the place very well.
Sure.
And I know the Byron family very well. I know her too.
Wonderful.
The sisters, everybody all right?
Good. Well, all the best.
Today, of course, we had the Prime Minister along with a team from UNICEF journeying deep into the red zone. Went into Orange Hill, then into Overland, London, Magum, and finally into Sandy Bay, where the destruction from the La Soufrière volcano was certainly quite abound for all to see. Lots of houses would have lost their roofs. There was even some damage to windows in some instances, but in most parts you saw damage to infrastructure. Lots of boulders that came down because of water flows lahars from the La Soufrière volcano in the area of Overland and also in Sandy Bay. We also had a situation where the vegetation, you saw a huge amount of devastation. The banana trees, the coconut trees, our roots buried under inches of ash, and it's going to take a very, very long time before we have the return to normalcy, agriculture and otherwise, over the Dry River. PM Gonsalves, he's there just having a discussion with some members of UNICEF, and pretty soon we'll be leaving this location. It was a pleasure, certainly, you know, bringing to you here today on VC3, you know, this tour by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, and we will certainly, you know, do continue keeping you, you know, as far as the happening relative to the La Soufrière volcano. And I don't know if my cameraman can pan away, but right before you there is an area that was filled with ash when we came in, but the ash has been washed away. I don't know if you've seen the fence in there, but the school is boundary with a river, and they brought in a pump, and the pump pumped quite a lot of water out of the river and was able to clean the entire area there before you. So a lot of work done in terms of, you know, getting the ash off the compound here at the Diamond Government School, and I'm pretty sure that the evacuees will be feeling a little better based on the fact that there is less ash that is remaining on the ground. So I believe with that, this is where we wrap things up here, and do continue to follow the La Soufrière volcano here on VC3, channel 114 on our YouTube page and also on Facebook.
Are you from Orangeville also?
Yeah.
You here with who? Your family?
Your mother.
Your mother? Just you and your mother alone?
Yeah, and my brothers.
Okay, and how has it been so far?
Yeah, he's so good for now.
Good for now?
Yeah.
In terms of your schoolwork, how are you coping with that?
Good.
You have one of the tablets?
Yeah, right now I'm pocket here.
Oh, you have it on your person right there?
Yeah. You see it.
Alright, my brother, all the best.
Yeah, respect.
Good, nice. Yes, how you doing?
Yeah.
You also from Orangeville?
Me from White Diamond, man.
You from Diamond?
Yeah, me love
so
visit.
You working here?
No, me love visiting already.
You're just visiting. What about you? From Diamond?
Yeah, right here.
Alright, but you know, how has this Soufrière affected Diamond and surrounding areas?
Can see right here. Real trouble, real damage. A lot of damage, especially up in the mountain, all around. I lose a sheep, die from it. Nobody lose a life.
Well, that's the important thing.
The Bible saying everything, you must give thanks. So you got to give God thanks still. Because we're still here. We'll move on.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe that we'll come stronger than ever. We will come out good.
All right. Being around here, how have the evacuees, the people who are stationed here, how are they reacting?
They are good. They're okay.
They're okay for now?
Yeah, they are okay. I have no problem with them. No problem.
All right. Well, all the best.
You don't have anything to complain about.
Okay. Thank you very much.